This is the most fundamental thing that our community can be doing, to be publicly advocating for Israel, and we have not done this for a long time, and I think this is just a seminal event.
It took 3-4 months to do this. It's a communal effort. Everybody worked together.
Whenever you do these things and you kind of dive into the deep end without a safety net, you're not sure whether it's going to work.
The last few days, we've been inundated with registrations to the extent we've had to turn people away, which is a great shame.
I think it also emphasises the anxiety we feel about Israel and our concern for the country and for its existence.
I'm here to listen, to be informed, to find out more about Israel advocacy.
It's very important to Machazek to strengthen the community at this time when a lot of people are not feeling so comfortable with who they are and their identity.
If we don't believe in ourselves, who will? And we need to stand up and be counted.
It's about time we got our act together and felt a bit more courageous about our position. Otherwise we find that the ground gets taken away from us by others who want to set that agenda.
My initial reaction to this idea is that it should have happened first 40 years ago.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to We Believe in Israel.
At a time of so much anxiety, today marks the largest ever single gathering in the UK of those who advocate for Israel, those who stand up for Israel, and those who believe in Israel.
I am proud to stand with you today as a representative of the government of the United Kingdom and say, we believe in Israel.
The assault of Israel's legitimacy is not about this or that settlement, this or that government, or this or that policy. We're facing an attack that strikes at the heart of our identity, what we stand for, and why we exist.
It matters to me to know that there are many, many people in Britain who support Israel, who support my mission of building the best possible partnership we can between Britain and Israel, people who care about Israel, people today here from the left, from the right, from the Jewish community, from the non-Jewish communities. That's why we're here.
You've all come here to find out what you can do to better make the case for Israel. Well, the great thing is if you've got an internet connection, if you've got a phone, most of your phones will be smartphones, a lot of them will be internet connected, you can get engaged in the debate online.
I want to suggest that Israel's legitimacy rests on 4 pillars, and its attacks upon those 4 pillars, or permutations of them, that make delegitimization stand out from acceptable political discourse about Israel.
The question I always ask people when they get into some of this stuff, and that you hear this sort of bile being repeated by often, very rational, professional people, is to say, well, are there any other countries you don't think should exist?
There's a huge difference between the way the international media covers this and between professionals who actually understand what the IDF is facing.
We need BICOM, we need the toolkit, and we need it urgently because there's a tide of opinion which has turned against Israel, and it's going to be very hard to turn it back.
It's really buzzing. A lot of people here, people of all different ages, people of all different backgrounds.
I think there's been a real effort made in this conference to ensure that multiple voices are heard. I think you see that in the list of supporting organisations, you see it in the list of sessions. The question for me is what comes next?
Detractors of Israel look at it as a place where all these terrible things happen, and there are lots of dilemmas, but everyone has dilemmas, every country has dilemmas.
One of the fundamental precepts of Jewish civilization is all human beings are created in the image of God. If you believe that, then you cannot easily put at risk non-competence.
The ability to bring the entire community together under one tent to say we support Israel. Not every action that Israel does, and we might not agree with every policy.
There are a lot of people out there
who actually would have no interest in. I'm not saying they'd be great lovers of Israel and they'd be coming to this conference. They actually just would not be that bothered by Israel. It would just be any other country if that 44-year occupation was over.
I think it's shown that irrespective of where you sit in the spectrum, that we are unified about one thing, our core belief in Israel and the centrality of Israel to Jewish identity.
It was heartening also to see a number of non-Jewish friends of Israel actively taking part in the debates.
You're a brave small nation existing in a hostile environment, and there are lots of things you can say that aren't necessarily aggressive or resentful, and one of them particularly that you should emphasize is the fact that you are a democracy in a region without a democracy.
The vast majority of Israeli Arabs would prefer to live, stay and work in Israel than have a homeland within the surrounding area.
There are few organisations with as strong a case in the facts who have done as bad a job as Israel and its supporters in making the case for Israel.
It's a mixed bag. I found a lot of committed people, some fantastic speakers. I found a lot of information, and I found out how I can do things a bit better in future.
This conference was just, as they say in Israel, Yotze min haklal. It really gave you sustenance, it gave you support, it gave you answers to the questions.
I think it's been very uplifting, and I think it's given people an enthusiasm and an impetus to go out and do things.
Let me, if I may, without being sycophantic, congratulate BICOM on the information that it sifts through and gives to us.
I'm delighted that this BICOM have put on this event because I work in Parliament and with a small organisation trying to help Israel, but to get more people involved is the key.
In military conflict, we have never asked nor seek help. But in the battle for world opinion, we do ask for the help of our friends, Jews and non-Jews, and anyone who holds Israel close to their hearts.
In evidence that I gave to the United Nations Human Rights Council in October 2009, I said that during its operation in Gaza, the Israeli Defense Forces did more to safeguard the rights of civilians in a combat zone than any other army in the history of warfare.
KGB was telling me before I was arrested and after I was arrested, because the world will speak about you for one day and then it will forget because it will move to the others. And with whom you connect your hopes? Look, they own a bunch of students and housewives. And we are KGB. They were right. But it was Jewish army of students and housewives.
Take the arguments out to your workplace, your book club, your professional association, your trade union, your online forum, Facebook, Twitter, and anywhere else, and be confident and be proud. You're not alone. Look around the room.
To me, the most important thing about this conference is that there is a continuation of advocacy for Israel.
There has to be some sort of constructive follow-up, that people feel that they didn't just come and talk and it's sort of, and now what?
And that we in the Jewish leadership must make sure we continuously feed them updated and relevant tools to enable them to do that.
Believe in your own power. Believe that if you act, others will act. Believe that it's contagious and you will surprise yourself. And hopefully today is a testament that if we believe, we can surprise ourselves.